welcome. This is False Start, a college football podcast for everyone and everyone else. I'm your host, John Buhler, lead writer for Fansided. I'm joined today by a man who struggles to pronounce Kinui Matalolo's name, Nico Iamaleava's name, but I don't think he has a problem with acetaminophen. Cody Williams, content director, fansided.com. It's not good. How are you?
Acetaminophen. It's pretty easy. Not that hard. I got that one. Let me try this because I was actually practicing this the other day.
Oh my
Yeah, it's not there. I'm trying so hard, but we'll get there. By the end of the season, I promise you I will pronounce Nico's last name properly. I was legitimately practicing the other day.
Okay. Um, E,
E
uh,
ma le
the,
ava. But I can't put it
E,
together. I'm like Joey and
you
Friends. I can't put it together.
know what
It
they
might be the
said.
pressure of the show. As soon as we turn the camera off, I'll probably be able to get it again.
That's fine. I'll stutter, stammer. I swore on last week's episode.
I almost just did when I couldn't say it.
It's
So.
it's fine. We're far enough into the show where it doesn't matter here. But all I could say is Tylenol is a hell of a drug.
It really is. Yeah, a lot of Tylenol in my life, I suppose.
Yeah. Biggest day of our lives, man.
We did it. We
We
did
did
it.
it. And we're not going to show up to a job interview wearing tuxedos to go clean bathrooms, but we've obviously false started here today. Got a very interesting show for you guys today on a Thursday. We're going to talk about some first and 15 here. We're going to put Mike Gundy in the slot.
That's right. Got to do it. We saw. I mean, we knew it was coming. We said on last week or on earlier this week that we thought it would be he'd be giving the grace to the end of the season. Given how bad it's gotten, it seems like they're not willing to wait on that, which I can't blame them. It would have been out of respect for Mike Gundy. He needed to go. But we do need to talk about what a legend the dude was, man. Because it ended so poorly, I feel like a lot of the context around this has been framed very negatively because fans are unhappy. And I understand that, but I think we also need to appreciate just all the all the good he brought to the Cowboys program.
Just an absolute one of one. I think I was writing the article for Badger of Honor, Hot Seat Watch. I'm like, Mike Gundy is right now is some cheese that's fallen off your pizza and is caking on the bottom of your oven. You'll get to in about 2 years eventually. Some people love cheese, some people hate cheese, but most people like cheese
hmm
to some capacity. Gundy just one of one personality. He got better with age. He was like fine wine.
Yeah.
He was just very, very much an 80s like high school villain. Like he would have been a Cobra Kai for sure.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. He's Cobra Kai trained. You know it.
Dude, we did an episode based on like the best Mike Gundy quotes and stories.
Yeah. How many
Told
people can we the people you can do that with in modern college football, you can count them on one hand. That's he is a seminal figure in college football, and you put it a good way. Love him or hate him, he is the epitome of love me or hate me, you watched. You know what I mean? And that's what Mike Gundy is. Even if you hated him, anytime he said something, you were gonna react to it. If you loved him, you were gonna react to it. He knew how to get a rise out of people in a way that I don't think many people I think in a way that I think is a talent, not just someone who's just a complete a-hole. I think he was very calculated in being an a-hole.
Yes, smarter than everybody in the room. He just didn't want anybody to know that. Again, every single point in Oklahoma State football history that they were really good, he was a part of it. Whether he was playing quarterback, handing the ball off to Thurman Thomas or Barry Sanders, serving under Les Miles' staff, then overtaking him in 2005 when Miles went to LSU,
Yeah.
won a couple of Big 12 titles, won a couple of not Red River, Bedlam series,
hmm
won a lot of games, press conferences for the ages, the most glorious mullet ever. I think on one hand, it's basically him, Lane Kiffin, and Mike Leach, and I don't even know who else he'd add to that group.
I think it might just be a three-fingered man if we're counting on one hand. That's what it is. Grab a strong hand, you know? But no, so I was looking for this tweet that I found the other day and to literally talk about just what he accomplished as a coach at Oklahoma State. 170 and 90 career record. Like I know it's been bad. Dude won a lot of football games. 12 bowl wins, made a bowl in 18 consecutive seasons, 8 different 10-win seasons, 2 12-win seasons, 10 ranked finishes, 5 top 15 finishes, and they were ranked in the AP top 25 in at least 17 consecutive seasons. This is Oklahoma State we're talking about. This is not Oklahoma. Like for someone to develop that kind of consistency at a program like that, and like I'm not saying that Oklahoma State they're always going to have upside, but I think that level of consistency that he built there is like I don't think we appreciate it to the level that we probably should. Like that's a pretty incredible record at a place like that.
I mean, he was an institution.
Yeah.
It was the same sort of thing with Bill Snyder at Kansas State, Gary Patterson at TCU, Gary Pinkel at Mizzou, Barry Alvarez at Wisconsin. Although he's saying some stuff right now that's really cringeworthy, but that's okay. With Gundy, I think also the 2011 team was the best team he had. That
Mhm.
had Brandon Weeden, had Justin Blackman. That team was absolutely
Yeah.
filthy. If they would have had a 12, if they would have had a 14 playoff, they would have been the 2 seed, and they would have played. I mean, it would have been Alabama, LSU, Oklahoma State. I think Stanford would have made it that year, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Yeah.
Also, he had so many amazing quotes. It's beyond "I'm a man, I'm 40." He's talking about being in the slot, like.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I do want to shout out our colleague Mark Powell for his headline on the post that we wrote with Gundy getting dismissed, which was "I'm a man, I'm fired." Mike Gundy let go at Oklahoma State, and I was like, all right, that's pretty good. I gotta give you your props there.
It was a very weird day in Oklahoma on Tuesday. Dakota Gregory can probably attest to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that there in a second. He's doing cartwheels in the streets over this, and then
He did get to go. Did he go to the game and watch his demise against Tulsa?
I'm just gonna assume he was there just to make a story
Okay.
better.
Living out the meme. Just showed up to the funeral to make sure he was dead.
Brings his 3-year-old son there. He's now wearing a shirt doing horns down. I love this. Just vibes curator.
Look, that's called good parenting. Okay.
So it's called creating an archetype. That's great.
That's right. I was trying to remember the running back from the 2011 team, Joseph Randall. I couldn't remember his name.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure he wore number one. Like I could see him in my mind, but like I couldn't remember his name. But yeah, Joseph Randall. That team was nasty.
Didn't he play for the Cowboys at some point? Your
Yep,
Cowboys?
he did.
Yeah.
He did. He was
Very.
not very good in the NFL.
No. No.
He
No.
was one of those dudes that for like 3 years running, they're like, if Joseph Randall takes the next step, he could be a fantasy sleeper, and he just never took the next step.
A lot of guys outside of Des Bryant didn't take the next step playing for Mike Gundy.
It's true, it's true. And I mean, like Justin Blackman, that's a case of its own. Like that's a sad story.
Yeah.
Because he definitely could have. Dude was unbelievable.
And I'll also say this with Gundy there. I think the biggest thing that people don't realize is just how much he always went to bat for his players. And I think
Hmm.
he always got like the most out of them. Yes, there was almost always a game or two a season where he put the stick through the spoke of the wheel of his bike and then blame it on Oklahoma. But like
Yeah.
he um he had a program operating at a level that it never really had been. Like prior to that, Oklahoma State was winning like 4 or 5 games a year.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, you talk about it's just hard to it's hard like you talk about okay, two things. One, my mind is I'm in case you couldn't tell by just looking at me, I overslept this morning, so I'm still, trying to get all the synapses firing. Sorry to all the starters out there. But what I was going to say is 2 points. One, you talk about all the players like loving him. You go and you look at social media over the past few days, it's like dozens and dozens of former players like giving him his flowers and like commending him for what he did. It is an outpouring of love from his former players, even if other parts of the internet are not being as kind to him. But if I had to guess, I think that's what Mike Gundy would want. And then on top of that, like I think the other thing that you have to like think about is, Oklahoma State was winning 4 or 5 games, and like you talk about the level of consistency, it goes down to coaching because you're talking about guys who weren't, most of them were not NFL caliber players. Most of them were not like, I joke all the time and say, he's going pro in something other than sports. A lot of these guys were going pro in something other than sports, and he still had Oklahoma State playing at a level this high of success where they're 12 times ranked inside the top, ranked like finishing ranked. Like that's crazy to think that someone is developing that kind of consistency when you're not getting the elite level talent.
No, but Tulsa comes for us all, whether that's
That's
Oklahoma State,
right.
Watchmen. uh, but I think the best part about it with Gundy was, well, actually, I'll finish with this. He should have been able to go out in his own terms
Mhm.
because he's the best that they've ever had. And I think everything that I've been seeing and hearing about the athletic department there in the university just got really, really screwy. I mean, they wanted to do this. The timing was not good. I know their AD was having some health issues.
Yeah.
It just got super weird. It was like saying, like, I've heard things where Gundy says, like, hell no, I'm not going to retire. You can fire me right now. I don't even know what to believe. It just adds to the legend that is Mike Gundy.
In fairness, I could see it. You know what I mean? So like I don't want to discredit that story because it does seem entirely believable. Like he was going to be a squatter if they didn't fire him, essentially. So like, I'm not, this is a man who coached most of last year with a concussion because he got headbutted by a bull.
On his own property. And I don't know how many hills there are in Oklahoma and everything like that, but he and Gator are in a convertible like Thelma and Louise, and it's just like this, and they're driving off the edge.
I was gonna say they're like Dumb and Dumber when they get like the honeymoon suite at the motel.
I don't know if they know where the Hawaiian Tropic bus went, but they did say something. Oh man, I'll get back to this to transition to the next topic. Dakota Gregory is doing cartwheels in the streets over the fact that Mike Gundy got fired, and then like hours later, John Mateer's hand got busted because clearly it don't mean enough.
Yeah.
We got some SEC stuff. We got to talk about John Mateer's injury, how that impacts Oklahoma's chances to compete for a playoff spot. His Heisman case is cooked, but the good news is Oklahoma now has a budding rivalry with Ole Miss.
That's right. We love to see that. It sucks for John Mateer. I think the most interesting thing to me was the way that the injury and the surgery report were worded from Oklahoma, which is he will be back sometime in the future. And you start to look at the recovery of this injury, and the general consensus is about 4 weeks, but some people say about 3 weeks. Bueller, do you want to tell me what game might happen to be in 3 weeks and why this surgery might have been been undergone now?
I think you got a Red River in 3 weeks.
That would be correct, and you have Kent State and a bye before that. So, yeah, probably a good time to get the surgery and maybe get him back for Red River because I would be completely shocked if he wasn't playing in Red River.
Yeah, after Kent State, you're playing only seven conference games, and every team on your schedule, with the exception of Lenore Sellers, the South Carolina Gamecocks, is ranked. Oh, and you got to play in Columbia. So I don't know if Oklahoma is going to make the playoff right now, but they've been fun for the first four games.
Oh yeah, and I did want to point out, like you were critical of Mateer in the Auburn game. I think we might have a reason why he might not have looked completely right. Dude needed hand surgery the whole time.
I just see what I see with my eyes. I didn't.
No, you were right. It's just I didn't expect the surgery news to be coming right after it.
So I guess now, like we know the defense under Brent Venables is gonna be good. It'll pull back a little bit because you're gonna downgrade a quarterback to just human psychology. There were things that happened last year with Michael Hawkins Jr. at quarterback that showed signs of promise. Namely, he was just better than Jackson Arnold.
Yeah, which you can do something with that, I guess.
It can be Kent State, and I think
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, you could beat Kent State. Like you could win that game 3-0. I promise you.
honestly everything we've seen out of Arch Manning. I mean, you could probably beat Texas with him too, to be straight.
At this point, yeah, it's hard not to say that.
But I think just the gauntlet that Oklahoma's got to run after that
Mhm.
is unforgiving.
Yeah, not you definitely want to get Mateer as soon as is reasonable to get him back because Hawkins is a downgrade. Like there's no doubt about it. And I will say I do wonder, and you're not going to learn a lot about Kent State, but I do wonder what Hawkins looks like in Arbuckle's offense because I do
Yeah.
think Arbuckle is that good of an offensive mind. I assume we're probably going to see him look better than he did a year ago, but it would be hard to imagine this not being a drop off from John Mateer.
I mean, unless Ben Arbuckle works at Hawkins Lab.
Right.
But I think the other thing is he may not even be able to be back. I mean, I'm talking like Mateer back for Red River. And at that point, you're okay. You just can't lose 3 games. You can
Yeah.
lose two. And at that point, Mateer hasn't lost for you yet. And you might still get in the playoff, but like you gotta be very calculated with some of these games coming down the track here.
Yeah, you got it. If you're Oklahoma, you definitely have to thread the needle in a lot of this with the material injury and like how like what you're deploying and when. Like you've got to be very strategic because if you go into all 7 of these remaining SEC games with balls to the wall type of mentality, you're not gonna survive it. You're gonna run out of balls at some point.
Okay, so here's Oklahoma's remaining schedule. They're on a bye this week. They
Mhm,
host Kent State next week. Then they're playing Dallas. They're playing Texas in Dallas at the Cotton Bowl for Red River. Then they're on the road at South Carolina.
mhm,
Then they host Ole Miss. Then they go to Neyland to play Tennessee. Then they have a bye. Oh, and then they got to go to Bryant-Denny to play Alabama. They
mhm.
host Mizzou in the penultimate game of the season for Peace Pipe. Oh, and then they got to finish at home versus LSU.
Yeah, I mean it's not easy. There's a reason we call this the toughest schedule in the country, and it's like they've already played 2 ranked games, and it's not going to get any easier from here.
Got challenging ones on the road for sure here, but it does change the Heisman race. Mateer's completely off the board right now.
Yeah,
I wrote about this because this impacted Gunnar Stockton's odds.
right.
His shot up pretty high. So, you've got Beck and Fernando Mendoza and I believe Dante Moore near the top. Those are kind of your 4 contenders right now. We'll see what happens after this week, but it sucks for Mateer because he had been a top 4 Heisman contender up until this injury. Now he's not winning it.
Yeah, no, he's not. It really hurts his odds, and I mean he was the betting favorite before the injury happened, so like that. That's tough. You don't want to see it, but I think that I think Oklahoma fans could care less about a Heisman at this point. You know what I mean? Like I think it's definitely more about getting him back so this football team can achieve what it's capable of.
And look, Oklahoma's won a bunch of Heisman's with a bunch of quarterbacks and
Yeah,
didn't win diddly squat. They'd rather win a national
exactly.
championship.
100%.
And speaking of a guy who's won a national championship at Oklahoma as their quarterback who did win the Heisman, runner-up Josh Heupel. Looking across the board, we're going to move over to what we were initially going to talk about.
Hmm.
The SEC now has their 3 annual opponents, permanent rivals, if you will, for the 26 through 29 season.
Hmm.
I could read them off, or we could just talk about what's at stake here.
We'll just let's just discuss it because that's a lot to read off. You're talking. I'm bad at math, but that's what 16 times 3. That's 48. Yeah, we don't need that.
That's a lot of words. Um, let's start with my team,
Yeah,
just to clear that out. So Georgia's 3 are Auburn, Florida, and South Carolina. Anybody with a brain knew, anybody with a pulse knows Auburn and Florida were going to be in there
right.
for Deep South's oldest rivalry and the cocktail party. The third game was going to be between South Carolina or Kentucky. There were people thinking it could have been Tennessee or Alabama, but the math wasn't mathing.
Yeah.
They ultimately went with South Carolina because South Carolina needed a one, and Georgia was probably the closest approximation of that for them.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like this, Georgia was one of the ones that did not shock me, especially because you look at Tennessee and they have Alabama, Kentucky, and Vandy. And like, who are you taking out from that group to put Georgia in? And like, that's a really like, if you have an indecision with one of the teams, it doesn't really make sense. And like, South Carolina had more of like, South Carolina and Georgia actually both frankly benefit from the fact that their biggest rivals are outside of the conference. So it gives the SEC a little leeway in scheduling these.
And then like Kentucky's number one in the conference is Tennessee. So you kind of got to
Yeah.
go with that too. Looking across the board, Alabama has Auburn, Tennessee, and Mississippi State. I call it Mississippi State.
You did. That was a good call.
Everybody kept saying Alabama, LSU, which is a great game, but it has not had the historical significance until really the Saban era.
Mhm.
Alabama, Mississippi State play every year, the 90-mile drive. I understand this is a hammer versus nail rivalry, but Mississippi State needed a number 2 after Ole Miss.
Yeah, no, 100%. And like also back to my point about Tennessee, the same applies to LSU. Like, especially with Alabama being a more modern rivalry, like Arkansas, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M, those are more long-standing rivalries for this program.
Yeah, you're not going to get rid of Magnolia. You're not going to get rid of the Battle of the Golden Boot. And then LSU and A&M have developed something very fierce since A&M joined the league.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, make that happen. I don't know. Did you see Lane Kiffin's comments about Oklahoma being one of Ole Miss's annual opponents?
Um, do you have it available?
I don't have it available, but I can paraphrase it. It was basically
Please.
like, we have no history. I don't understand this. Like, this isn't a rivalry. We don't have anything with one another, which he's not wrong, to be very clear about that.
So Ole Miss's other two are obviously Mississippi State and LSU.
Yeah.
You would have thought Arkansas and Vanderbilt would have been much more likely. Tennessee was much more likely than that too.
Yeah. No, but again, you look at Oklahoma and they were a program in this conversation that really only had one natural rival, which was Texas. Like you had Red River, and then where else are you putting Oklahoma in that equation? Because there's not really a whole lot of history that we're working with any of the other programs.
The Mizzou one seemed to be more and more likely. They played
Yeah,
for the Sooner Tiger Peace Pipe. I don't know if that's still coming back, but they played the Big Eight. I think that
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. I mean, like a traditional, but like, I guess that's my point. Like you're having to dig deep to find some stuff for Oklahoma, whereas like a lot of these other ones are more natural. Like Oklahoma was one where they could kind of, you know, fudge the numbers to so to speak to like make it work.
I thought that Oklahoma's other one would have been Texas A&M
Mhm.
for and then see Texas A&M has Texas and LSU, and then they have Missouri, which I doesn't make sense. I would have put Oklahoma or Arkansas there. If you
Yeah.
look at Missouri, okay, Arkansas, Oklahoma, shouldn't have been Texas A&M, but who do you put for Mizzou there? Do you put South Carolina for the Battle of Columbia? Do you just send it to the Big Ten? Do you just get can't do you annex Kansas? I don't know what we do.
Yeah, I don't know. Kansas is not joining the SEC. I know that. So we're not doing that. Yeah, I don't know. I do not envy whoever had to do this. I don't know if it was Greg Sankey sitting down with a pen and paper or what, but I don't envy whoever had to come up with this because it's not an easy task at all.
And I don't know if you've ever tried to do this yourself. Like I've done it a couple of
I
times,
know
and
you
I
have. I have not. So
you can get to about 11 or 12 teams, and then it completely unravels on you.
yeah, yeah. It doesn't seem fun at all. Like I'm looking at it and it's not like I'm enjoying it. I'm excited about the football, but like I'm it starts to spin my head a little bit. Like it's not so I guess let's move this forward a little bit. Like looking at this, who do you think got like the toughest draw out of what we're looking at? I just realized, I don't think I had realized this, that it do Arkansas and Texas A&M have the same rival, like the same annual games? It's the same three, isn't it?
Arkansas and Texas A&M, yeah, they're kind of all grouped together. South Carolina, Kentucky kind of play like the no South whatever. Florida and Florida and South Carolina play all the same teams too.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, those are right beside each other. I should have seen that. That's interesting. Like that. Anyway, who do you think has the like got the toughest draw in the annual opponents?
I that's a loaded question. We're trying to figure this
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
Um, I would say I don't think Oklahoma's is really easy. I think that's
yeah.
pretty tough.
Nah.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, I'm looking at Auburn. Like Auburn's is not fun. We knew it wasn't going to be, but like you have Alabama and Georgia, obviously, which that's what it is. And but then like you get Vanderbilt, and like normally you would say, oh, that's like the SEC like throwing them a bone because Alabama and Georgia are their other two rivals. Vanderbilt's a mid-tier SEC team now. They're not bottom tier anymore, and so like that's not an easy game. We watched Auburn lose to Vanderbilt last year. Like this is not like those are three like that's three losable games no matter what Auburn is every single year.
I think one team that got really screwed in this, I think besides Auburn, Arkansas is pretty tough too because
Yeah.
you hate Texas. How often do you beat Texas? How often do you beat LSU? And they're trying to make they should call it battle line fetch because they're trying to make it a thing. And yeah, you got anything else? I'm trying to think who's got an easy one. I think honestly the easiest one's Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee's not looking. too terrible, especially for the like. I think the big thing is like the caliber of the program because like we said, like Arkansas and Texas A&M have the same opponents. Those opponents look a lot different for Arkansas than they do Texas A&M. Tennessee, like because of what Tennessee is under Josh Heupel, like you know now that you can beat Alabama on any given year. So like that game is winnable. It's not like, you're up against a beast. Kentucky is bottoming out, so that game looks winnable. And then despite Vanderbilt's come up, you've still owned Vanderbilt in recent years. So like you still have like the edge in basically every one of these matchups.
The other one, actually the easiest one, Florida.
Maybe.
That depends on how you view Florida. Like I'm viewing them in a positive light. Like,
Yeah.
of course, you were going to get Georgia,
Yeah.
and you do have rivalries with South Carolina and Kentucky, but like not to the degree with what you have with LSU or Tennessee, which you evaded.
Yeah. I am a little surprised that we don't have the Florida Tennessee game. Feel like that would have balanced that. But like I with South Carolina, and you're right, it does come down to how you view Florida because like I'm based on where they currently are as programs right now, I'm higher on South Carolina long term than I am Florida long term because we don't know what Florida's going to be long term.
I also like how with Vanderbilt, they're like, you know what, we really don't care. Yeah, you get Tennessee, but we'll give you Mississippi State and Auburn. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like you would have been better off giving them Ole Miss and Kentucky.
Yeah, but hey, as long as Hugh Freeze is there, that's a dub in
That's
Jordan
it.
Hare, baby.
I didn't even realize that. Yes. Diego Pavia comes back. He doesn't leave Vanderbilt. He's in the USC.
He's not going pro in something other than sports. He's just going to be the Vanderbilt quarterback for his professional career.
God bless the live dog.
We love him so. We love him so.
We love him so, and for as long as he's going to keep playing college football, we are doing a simulation. We're going to crown a college football playoff national champion based on the latest FPI percentages entering week 5. I did the math, so sleep deprived Cody wouldn't have to. It's been a month for you. You're almost done.
We're at the finish line somewhat.
You got a bachelor party, so you might die.
Yeah, I might not make it back, but if I don't, it's been real, y'all.
It's been
I've
it's
enjoyed
been
it.
it's been real. It's been fun, but has it been real fun? So. All right, number one seed in this is Ohio State, the projected Big Ten champion at 75-9. And these are all percentage chances of making the playoff. Two is Georgia, projected SEC championship at 75-2. Oregon's three, projected Big Ten runner-up at 71.1. Ole Miss at four, projected SEC runner-up at 66.9. Miami, your projected ACC champion at 6.1. Indiana, your projected six seed, Big Ten at large at 58-2. Alabama, your seven seed, projected SEC large at 50. Right smack dab in the
Oh
middle.
yeah, baby.
Texas is your projected eight seed as an SEC large at 49-7. USC at nine, projected Big Ten at large at 49-5. Oklahoma is your last team in as your 10 seed, projected 45.8. Your projected group of five champion is Memphis out of the American at 35.1. And your projected 12 seed out of the Big 12 is Texas Tech at 33%. Your first four teams out are Texas A&M, Penn State, Missouri, and Vanderbilt.
Mhm. Dude,
The next,
shout out to the live dog once again.
yeah, they're coming in at 37.5, so they'd be ahead of Memphis and Texas Tech.
Yeah.
If not for Memphis, your your first two like non-SEC, ACC, or I don't know, BYU and Old Dominion are coming up.
Oh, let's go. We're cooking.
BYU is not far off of Texas Tech's trail at 31.9, and then Old Dominion, 2-1 Old Dominion with the win over Virginia Tech, 14.9.
Hell yeah, brother. We love to see.
Like the fact that that's almost triple what Memphis's percentages is telling.
Oh, 100. Some of these percentages I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't quite understand. Like Ole Miss at 66.9%. Like that's high. We know that their schedule is navigable and easy, and it also comes down to I was checking this while you were reading off the list. and seeing what Bill Connolly at ESPN has in the SP Plus projections for Ole Miss versus LSU this weekend, and Ole Miss is favored by 6. So like I would venture to guess that because of that, like Bill Connolly works at ESPN, FPI is done by ESPN. I'm sure he has some influence in the numbers that are being put in to calculate this. That Ole Miss being favored by frankly by almost a touchdown is why they have a 66.9% chance because not only do they have a navigable schedule, they're saying that they're going to beat LSU as well. And that's why LSU, you don't see their name anywhere on this list.
Yeah, I mean, they could beat Georgia and Athens. I wouldn't
Yeah.
count on it, but it's possible. They could beat Oklahoma. They could pretty much beat everybody on their schedule. And I think that that's why Ole Miss is so high. So obviously, your top four seeds here, Ohio State, Georgia, Oregon, and Ole Miss. It hasn't really changed very much, I think, since last time. I think Georgia and Oregon flipped from two to
Yeah.
three, but not by a lot.
Yeah. And I mean, but even just a couple flips in seeding and we're still looking at a different playoff bracket, which is fun. Different
All right.
matchups and stuff. So let's simulate it, baby.
All right. You're 5-12. Miami is hosting Texas Tech. I think that's a very close game, but I would still probably go with Miami.
Yeah, I think I would go with Miami. I think that I don't like, despite all of the money that Texas Tech has spent to build this roster, I'm not sure that they have the offensive line to hold up against Miami's defensive front. And like that's where I think this game would probably be decided right there.
Yeah, I would kind of, I would tend to agree with that. I'm trying to plan this all out ahead while
No,
we're
you're good,
going.
baby.
It's not going to be your typical 5 versus 12 is basically what I'm getting at.
Yeah, 100%.
6-11, a very basketball rival with Indiana hosting Memphis. Um, we had to put that thing behind a paywall. I think Memphis skins them alive. No, no,
Memphis. Okay, 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 okay. I was about to say, whoa, hold on, we need to backtrack.
no. Kurt Gundy is walking in Memphis with the Tiger Road, brother.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, he's yeah, it's not going to be pretty at all. Indiana's a far superior football team.
I would agree there. Yeah, it's still early, no coffee. You've had more than me. You're 7-10. Alabama hosting Oklahoma. Believe that's a rematch from what we would be. It's exact same location too, which is wild from like a later game this year.
I would love that. I'm gonna go Oklahoma, man. I we'll get to it later in the show. I'm not really like feeling Alabama still. Like I'm just not there yet. And like until I see that, I think Oklahoma's the better football team.
It's close, and I think this would probably be the most exciting game of the four in the first round. But I would probably go with the Sooners because you'll have Mateer back.
Yeah, 100%.
And then a rematch of the '05 national championship between Texas and USC.
That's sick. That's a lot of
That
fun.
I could be convinced either way right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think Texas just has a little bit more depth, and that's why I think that they would win.
I would go Texas here, and again, it's based on the defensive front. Like I mentioned, I'm getting higher on USC. I'm starting to believe a good bit in this USC team, but the offensive line does worry me, and that's not a question I want to be asking when I'm going in to play the Texas Longhorns is can my offensive line hold up? Because the answer, if you're asking that question, the answer is no. The answer is
No,
no.
no. So I'm gonna do this real quick. Can you just vamp for a second while I
A
type
hundred
this
percent,
up?
100%. So I like. And I've said this before, like when we talk about Arch Manning, like it's not going to look like this the entire season.
No,
Like what he's looked like at the beginning of the year. We started to see it against Sam Houston. Awful defense, I'm aware of that, but like I just think he needed to build his confidence and like he had been pressing so hard that it didn't work out. I'm not saying he's going to be a world beater, but he's not going to be an active detriment, which I think he has been at some points. Like they should have blown out UTEP. They didn't really blow him out in the way that you would expect because Arch was a detriment for some of that game. Talk about San Jose State. Didn't really blow him out because Arch was a detriment in that game. You probably should have beat Ohio State if you could do anything offensively for the first 3.5 quarters of the game, but you didn't because Arch was a detriment. And like as soon as he becomes just a passable college quarterback, this Texas team is going to be infinitely better because you're not going to have the defense being put in bad spots by the quarterback.
just beating up guys who are gonna work on Craigslist professionally.
100%.
All right, so I've got it all figured out here. Here's our national quarterfinals. Your Rose Bowl, number one Ohio State versus number eight Texas. Your Sugar Bowl, number two Georgia versus number 10 Oklahoma. Your Cotton Bowl, number three Oregon versus number six Indiana. I don't know if they play this
They
year, but
do.
that's.
They do. Yeah, so that'd be a rematch.
And then your Orange Bowl, number four Ole Miss as the home team versus number five Miami.
Hell yeah.
Um, let's go. Let's work our way down. Let's start with the Rose Bowl. I just with what I it's we've already seen this game.
Yeah. It's I'm gonna give Ohio State the benefit of the doubt because we know that they can win this football game because we've seen it.
That's kind of my leaning as well. I think Sands, you haven't heard any real negative things about Julian Sand other than for me, then I think it's just Common Core 2.0.
Yeah, I mean it's entirely possible, and if that is the case, and Arch Manning does improve throughout the year, maybe this game looks a lot different. But we're not there yet. So
100%. And we got a rematch of the 2000s, what, 18, 17, 18 Sugar Bowl with Georgia, the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl with Georgia versus Oklahoma. It'll be close. I think bias aside, I have to go Georgia. I think them having an extra week off, whereas Oklahoma having to really eke out a tough one over Alabama, that's going to be a little bit too much for the Sooners, I think.
yeah, I agree. Especially after the gauntlet that you're gonna have to finish the regular season with on top of that. Like I just think that the wear and tear is gonna get to Oklahoma at some point.
Now at the Cotton Bowl, number three, Oregon versus number six, Indiana. I'm kind of leaning Indiana here.
We'll go. Let's take Indiana because my like gut reaction, my instant idea was whoever loses the first game is who I think would win this one, and I would probably pick Oregon in that first game. So like I'll lean Indiana in this one because I think these are two great coaches, and I think they counter punch whatever the initial punch is in the regular season.
I also think travel really screws Oregon over here
Hmm.
a lot, whereas Indiana just has to go south. Maybe they change the time zone. Oregon's got to go over two. They got to go to like other options. Like, well, are they going to pick the Sugar Bowl, the Orange Bowl? No, they want the Rose Bowl. They're not going to get it because they're not the one seed.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's not a great travel situation for either of them, but it's definitely worse for Oregon.
And then you're 4 or 5, Ole Miss versus Miami.
Pro Miami. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Lane. Like I love you to death, brother, but no shot.
Although I will say, Ole Miss is playing with a lot of fire right now,
Yeah.
and Miami is gettable, but I don't see Lane beating Miami in Miami Stadium as the favorite. I just
I,
don't
I
see that.
I think it's a talent gap too. Like I just think Miami's a far more talented team.
I would probably tend to agree with that. And then we are going to move on to our national semifinals. Typing this a lot, I can't spell Georgia because that's just how life is right now.
You just gotta hit the UGA, baby. Just shorthand
I,
everything.
I've been watching a lot of uh Everybody Loves Raymond. I always call it There's Something About Raymond.
There's something about Raymond, man.
One of the earlier episodes, they did some sort of like poker night where Ray lost $2,300 to his dad. And Robert doesn't like is a cop, played by Brad Garrett. He's trying
Yeah.
to scribble it down. He's writing it shorthand on a legal pad. Okay, so your Fiesta Bowl, number one Ohio State versus number five Miami in the Valley of the Sun in Glendale, Arizona, and your Peach Bowl, number two Georgia versus number six Indiana in the Tom Green Bowl.
Tom Greenbowl, baby.
Let's start with the Fiesta Bowl. This is a rematch of the 2002 national championship.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. God, this is tough. I don't know. Who do you got? Like, I need you to talk this out with me because I don't. I'm struggling.
I've picked both teams to win this game over various points
Right.
of the season.
That's what I'm
At the
feeling
end,
like internally right now. It's like I don't know.
I think I have to give it to Ohio State here just because I think I trust Ryan Day more than Mario Cristobal.
I think that's a really good point. God, yeah, let's go Ohio State. I'm good with it. I like. I don't. I probably would feel bad about both answers, quite frankly. Like if I said Miami, like
Yeah.
I'm trusting Mario to get to the national championship game, which doesn't feel particularly good.
And then we got the Peach Bowl with Georgia versus Indiana here. I'm going to remove my bias from the equation here. If this would have been Oregon, I think there's a more compelling argument for the Ducks. And I think it
Mhm.
because when I was doing this for Dawn of the Dog, I'm like, any of those Final Four teams, Ohio State, Miami, Georgia, and Oregon could conceivably win the rest of their games there.
Yeah.
I think ultimately recruitment is going to come back to hurt Indiana here. I think a lack of depth might, because like they will have had to play like they will have won two games as like the underdog, and I maybe not the underdog, but like two playoff games where Georgia's had one. I
Yeah.
think that Georgia's has a little more depth here.
Yeah, a little more depth, a little more firepower. And I think that yeah, I think it's pretty clear Georgia wins this game. Like I wouldn't expect Indiana to get blown out. Like I think this is a much better Indiana team than the one we saw last year, but I think it could look I would say similar to maybe like Notre Dame Penn State in the semifinals last year where Penn State makes a late or Indiana can make like a late push to make it interesting but can't quite get it over the hump.
Yeah, I think they've kind of right now, until we see otherwise or this field change, I think they've got a national semifinals ceiling.
Yeah, I like that. I think that makes a lot of sense.
And the international championship, number one, Ohio State versus number two, Georgia in Miami Gardens. Oh my God, I don't know how to pick this game. I will say though, I could lean Georgia here, strictly because I don't think I in this machination. It looks as though Ohio State hasn't lost yet.
Yeah, yeah. If they're the one seed, that's most likely the case.
Are you? But what are you leaning? Are you leaning Ohio State or Georgia? We'll go with you for the final tally here.
Yeah, no. I'm leaning Georgia because I'm still not there. I'm not all the way there with Ohio State yet. And like maybe that'll change as the year goes on and as I see more data points. Like there's a data point coming this weekend as they go on the road to play Washington. Like I want to see what that looks like. They're only 7.5 point favorites, which tells me that odds makers don't necessarily believe in this team to the level that maybe others do at this point. So yeah, I need to see more from Ohio State. I've seen Georgia in a high level game already, and their backs were against the wall, and they fought back and they won that game against Tennessee. And so like, you know, things can change, my opinions can change, but right now I've seen it from Georgia, and I don't know if I've seen it from Ohio State yet because when you look at that iteration of Texas, how impressive was that win actually?
You look at the coaching standpoint. I give Kirby the slight edge over Ryan Day. I give Matt Patricia the edge over Glenn Schumann. I'd honestly give Mike Bobo the edge over Brian Hartline.
Yeah, I think that's a slight edge, but I probably would go Bobo just based on experience, quite frankly.
And I think there's the having to win, because at this point you'd be riding what four plus. You'd be riding a 19 game winning streak if you're Ohio
Mhm.
State. That's a lot right
That's a
there.
lot, yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe they lose to Michigan. Who knows?
Who knows? But looking at this with a new group of teams in here, I know we did this last week and we said all but like four teams could win a national championship of this group. I think there's a lot less on here that could.
So, who do you think can? How many do you have that you think can?
Okay, I think Ohio State can. I think Georgia can. I think Oregon can. I think Miami can. And I'm really kind of grasping at straws here. If to find a fifth team, I think in time, maybe Alabama, Oklahoma, or Texas could, maybe two, not all three.
So, those are the three that I was also going to include in this conversation, just because, like, I don't think they can in their current form, but I think they can get there.
Yeah.
And, like, that's definitely possible. Frankly, I don't even know if the top five can in their current form. Maybe Miami probably could in their current form. Um, Oregon probably could in their current form. Granted, they haven't played anybody, so what's their current form actually mean? We'll find out this weekend against Penn State. But Georgia, I definitely think can in their current form, but I'm not sure Ohio State could in their current form. I'm not entire like I go back to Oregon, like I'm not in like that's kind of like middling that one. Like I'm not sure if they can in their current form. Alabama definitely not. I need to see more from Ty Simpson. Texas need to see more from Arch Manning. Oklahoma, you need to get John Mateer healthy, and you need to see what this team looks like by the time they come out of the schedule they're about to have to play.
And Ole Miss, Texas Tech, Indiana, Memphis, it's not happening right now. Although I do think if Indiana and Ole Miss like go undefeated, they can convince people that they're in there, but still probably not.
They have very strong and this is complimentary. I don't mean this negatively if it comes off that way, but they have very strong like TCU vibes
Yeah,
from
I was
when.
thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah, and like what we saw with TCU was they ran out of gas against a team that was far more talented than them. Like that, they ran out of gas when they got to the national championship game because you had to give like peak efficiency every single night to go on the run that they went on. And like I think Indiana, Ole Miss, and Texas Tech teams like that, they're capable of that exact same type of run. But at a certain point, you're going to run into a Georgia, you're going to run into an Ohio State that just has better players than you, and you're also going to be running on fumes at that point. And that's a bad combination.
And that's totally fine. I mean, you and I have rooted for teams that fit this bold build.
Oh
You
God,
can you
yeah.
can you can like get there, get on the step, but you're just not doing it. The 98 Falcons, the 15 Hawks. I think what you said that the 21 Red Sox are kind of like this a little
Oh,
bit.
dude, yeah, 100%. They had Kyle Schwarber playing first base
I don't know if the
in
Cowboys.
playoff games, not just experimentally.
I don't know if the cow maybe the 16 Cowboys are kind of like this a little bit.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Yeah, with Zeke coming in. Yeah,
Hmm.
that was a
I
good
don't
one.
know.
I mean, I would say, let's see, it would have been like 20, either 2013 or 2014, North Carolina. Played in the
Yeah.
ACC championship game against Clemson, came up short in that one, but like they were getting close to that mold. Frankly, there's a lot of iterations of Carolina football that could have done this and then just messed the bed, but that's neither here nor there.
I don't know if there's like a good Georgia one here because I think 12 could have won. I think 7 could win. Maybe 02.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. But we did we did a
We
simulation.
did, we did. Congratulations to your dogs, simulated national champions.
It means a lot. I want to do this like they don't end up winning at some point, like just to
We'll,
see what
we'll,
this
we'll
looks
get
like.
there. We need, frankly, we need more, like, at least for me, from where I'm sitting, I need more data points. You know me.
Yeah.
I like my data points, and I don't have enough right now. So, like, if
It-
Oregon goes out and beats Penn State by 30 this weekend, I'll have some different opinions on Oregon coming out of that.
and I think they might, but because it's a trap. The Admiral Ad Akbar, it's a trap game. Just like I wonder if he's probably no, he's an Ole Miss fan. That's right.
Yeah,
Admiral
yeah,
Akbar. He doesn't care for Auburn either.
yeah.
I actually numbered mine this week. So our three best bets to pull off a potential upset here. Not saying that they will. The Joel Klatt almost upset a week, if you will.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Who do you have at three?
All right, so let me preface this that most of most of like the biggest games of the week I do not have listed here because I'm going to talk about them in just like Novocaine. And like I also think like when you're talking Alabama, Georgia, when you're talking Oregon, Penn State, is that really like that big of an upset? These teams are conference foes who are both ranked very highly. So like I don't want to include those there. So I'm starting off with TCU going on the road to 3.5 point favorite Arizona State. We talked about TCU and Josh Hoover. This team is starting to click and like not necessarily have the same vibes as the team that made the national championship. I think they're definitely worse than that. But like this team is starting to find a gear. Josh Hoover looks like he's legit. Arizona State's still been a bit stop and go, man. Like it's not
Yeah.
necessarily been the smoothest of sailing. I think one of the biggest keys that I've been worried about is this defense looks like it has taken a step back from last year. And against this TCU offense, that could get you in trouble. I understand this game's in Tempe, but this feels like one where Arizona State's Big 12 hopes like truly might be like not totally hanging in the balance, but they're like this game would put them hanging in the balance, if that makes sense.
Yeah, TCU is a very scary play here. I might go with the Horned Frogs if I got to make a pick here.
Yeah, I'm going Horned Frogs. So
Yeah, I mean, or whatever. I mean, about she cares a lot right now.
I love it. I love it.
And, we're doing this. We're going to be finding our photographer for our wedding after this. This is
Hell yeah.
nice today. So yeah, I'd probably go TCU here. Three for me. I think there's a chance Ohio State's laying too many points at Washington.
Okay.
9.5. Maybe it's Mark Knight rubbing off on me because he's a Huskies fan. We're covering the Wisconsin Badgers as not fans there.
You know.
Um, People don't win in Husky Stadium, sponsored by Alaska Airlines or whatever the hell it's called on the coast of Lake Washington. Cousin Devon Williams might be has a little bit more he just does it for me a little bit more than Julian's saying.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna take Ohio State to win here, but I think it's gonna probably be closer than by like a touchdown.
So I have this game as my number one, but I'll go ahead and talk about it real quick. We haven't seen Ohio State away from Columbus.
Yeah.
So, and this is not exactly the easiest of road trips to make for this game. I've said it, you mentioned it, like, is Julian saying the new Kyle McCord? It's entirely possible that is the case. Like, I haven't been like overly impressed with him. Obviously impressed with the players around him. He's got a hell of a, a hell of a wide receiver group. He's got a hell of a running back room that's developing there, but I'm not sure what this guy is because Kyle McCord had those things too, and it didn't really work out. So I am curious to see what this looks like for Ohio State. I'm not going to be bold enough to pick Ohio State to lose this game. I'm going to pick them to win. But to your point, the line has dropped to 7.5, and I still think that this game is kept within that. I think it's kept within a touchdown.
Yeah, your lines are a little more accurate than me, but yeah, Washington, they're the
It
dogs
was
too.
it was like 9.5. That's what it opened at. I'm pretty sure. So yeah.
Yeah, they're a little bit of a live dog here. Number two for me, this is free money for anybody out there. Illinois is going to beat the tar out of USC.
This is my number two as well.
I had them at USC minus 6.5. USC is feeling really confident. Illinois has had its worst loss in half a decade, or since Bielema took over.
Yeah.
I mean, Jade Maeva's a fantastic quarterback. Luke Altmaier is also really good. Lincoln Riley's already bitching about the travel. It's like, shut up, dude.
Yeah.
And here's basically what's going to happen. Brett Bielema is going to sit on Lincoln Riley's head. He's like, I'm going to sit on you.
I'm a sit on you.
Lincoln Riley comes out. He's got blood coming out of his ears on his visor. Why? Because Brett Bielema farted out some meatloaf on him. Just, I think this is going to get ugly. I think you're looking at like Illinois winning 33-10.
So I'm not going to go 33-10, but I do think
I,
I do think Illinois wins this game.
I just said that to say that. I don't know.
I do think Illinois wins this game though. You mentioned the travel, like Lincoln Riley already complaining about it. Like that's not the right mentality you want for your head coach, but it's also not an easy travel. Like I'm definitely with you on that. That means a lot in the new Big Ten is like some of these travels, and like more importantly, USC has sucked when they've had to make these types of trips. Like there were people worried about the Purdue game in USC fandom because you were having to make the trip to West Lafayette. Like that's the mentality of this program. That's not a good place to be in. And now you're going against a dog that just got kicked essentially. Like that's what you're going into facing Illinois, and you don't kick Burt and get away with it. Is really what I'm getting to.
So yeah, you can make a flight from Los Angeles to Chicago, but and play Northwestern to take the Red Line north to Evanston. You got to go a little bit further south to Champaign-Urbana.
Yeah, yeah. It's you're not Chicago at all.
You're not in Kansas anymore. And my number one, and I have this in Jalen too. I don't care. Um, Oregon at Penn State. Penn State's laying 3.5. I don't believe in Penn State at all. I think this has the potential to be. I don't even. I have a feeling that this is going to get really ugly.
Yeah, it's definitely I hope Penn State proves me wrong so we get a better football game. Quite frankly, like I hope Penn State comes out and they show something that we haven't seen before. I hope that Penn State has been playing possum, for lack of a better term, through the first few weeks of the season. I'm just not sure that's the case because everything that we've seen prior to this season from Penn State and a lot of these same players tells us that this is just kind of what they are.
And I'm going to do this real quick because this is not a doing math podcast, but we're going to try that. We're going to try our best. So Penn State has a 39.5% chance to make a playoff compared to Oregon, which is 71.1. That's a 31.6 percentage difference, which is about the same amount of chances of what God. That's like Texas. That's a percentage chance of Texas Tech making the playoff about.
Hell yeah.
The range is so much there, and I'm with you. I'm not ruling out the idea that Penn State beats Ohio State this year.
Yeah.
Oregon's mushing people,
Yeah,
and
they are.
I mean, I don't know if they're going to really mush them that badly, but
I mean, this Penn State, I will say, the Penn State defense has looked damn good to this point. Like, Our issues with Penn State are not with the defense. They are not with Jim Knowles and what he's doing on that side of the ball.
King Broccoli there, Drew Aller, he takes his helmet off. He looks like a brown-haired version of Copper Blosky, just everywhere.
I think I figured out. I was talking the random conversation that happened at slow pitch softball last night, but we were talking about the this lady who does like toupees and stuff like that, and I think I recognize, like, I think that's my issue with the broccoli haircut is it looks like a toupee. Like it kind of has like a bad rug vibe to it. Like you had that like done, but not you didn't pay for the good work on your toupee.
Well, I also think the fact that you and I have straight to wavy hair,
Yeah.
and we can't do that. So
What I wouldn't want to though. That's the thing.
no, no, I'd kick my own
If I
ass if
want to
I
do something, I'll get a perm. I don't give a
I'll
damn.
give
Like,
it. Uh,
I'm not above a perm. You think
I'm
I
not,
care?
and I don't know if he was above a perm, but he does have some chest hair. That would be Antonio Banderas, the
That's right.
Antonio Banderas Bowl of the Week. We're going to recap.
Can we get him a perm on his chest hair?
He tried that in Boulder. So we went to Boulder last week for Wyoming at Colorado, and now we're going to Azkaban for UCLA at Northwestern.
Yes, Um, as always, he this is the most fearful trip for Antonio because he is scared of the Dementors. Not much scares him, but the Dementors, they're nothing to be trifled with, and Antonio knows this.
And we got him enough liquid courage. We got him to hang out with Dad and Dad with Matt and Trey the previous week.
That's right. Yeah, that's what he needed. Like really, Boulder was a confidence building trip, and we had to go out there. And the good thing about Boulder is it's not Nashville necessarily, but there are a lot of birthday parties, and
Yes.
so we got to go. Get Antonio involved with some birthday parties with Trey and Matt, and they ended up in the middle of Rocky Mountain National Forest at one point. Don't know how they ended up there because it closes at a certain time, and this was in the dead of night. Um, but Antonio was riding an elk, and I don't know how that happened. And he asked if he could ride it to Evanston, and I was like, "Brother, that's a long way. You probably won't make it by Saturday." And he said Bulldog. So I don't know.
The big thing is he was looking out ahead of this. It's not only going to Azkaban, so he's got his Slytherin robes. He's ready for this.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's making us wear ours too, which is going to be kind of awkward. But so is playing in that football stadium.
That's right.
Antonio has he gets into fights in the red line a lot.
I mean, it happens. You know, he wins a lot of fights as well because as we mentioned, he's made of like cheap plastic. So like it's not a he doesn't hurt very easily, he doesn't bruise very easily. His biggest enemy is a Sharpie, quite frankly.
So yeah, he didn't get drawn on. That's the thing about public transit. He doesn't like the graffiti.
Yeah, 100%. He relates to it a little too much.
So I asked him like, why are you riding this elk in from Boulder, Colorado to Evanston, Illinois? And he's like, my Patronus charm. I'm like, but you're wearing Slytherin robes. And he's like, Bulldog.
Bulldog. That's not how
Um,
Patronus works, Antonio. But we can't get into the machinations of magic with Antonio. He barely understands the machinations of the Muggle world, much less the Wizarding world.
nah, he's gonna go. He's gonna go to Wrigleyville too and riding a moose around there.
100%. Uh, this sidetracks me slightly, but have you ever seen Mo Vaughn? I believe it was after the 1998 season for the Red Sox. What he did to celebrate, I believe, it was winning the division for the Red Sox. He rode a horse around Fenway Park. He brought his own horse to the ballpark and rode it around to celebrate with the fans.
Three best things about Mo Vaughn. Number one, number two, his cousin's Greg Vaughn.
Yes, sir. Which,
Eh,
yeah, apple didn't fall far from the tree. Like that
Nah.
family tree is very tightly knit.
And then I think he like works in like housing, trying to like help people out with like making housing affordable in Massachusetts, which is impossible.
No, 100%. Mo Vaughn is legitimately a good dude. Also an MVP, shouts out. Didn't
Yeah.
deserve it at all if you go back and look at the numbers, but that's okay.
What he went in what like 95, I think.
I think that's right, yeah.
Who should have gotten it that year?
Let's see. Make sure we get the right year. We'll go move on. MVP season.
They probably tried to give it to Cal Ripken Jr. because he played in a bunch of games at
No, there was
first.
someone who like went like absolutely dummy in this season. So if you want to go by WAR, which I don't care, like that's not the biggest thing. Randy Johnson had the most WAR in the AL. He had
He,
8.6 to Mo Vaughn's 4.3. If we're
he
just
won the
talking,
he won the Cy Young that year.
yeah. He had a 2.48 ERA, 18 and 2 record with 294 strikeouts. Jesus.
There had to have been somebody on the 95 Indians who was
So I was
ridiculous.
just about to say Albert Bell was probably the more deserving MVP. Hit 317 with a 1.091 OPS, hit 50 home runs with 126 RBI. Mo Vaughn hit 39 home runs with 126 RBI and had a 963 OPS. So Albert Bell was 100 points higher on the OPS than Mo Vaughn.
And they're like, we can't give this award to this psychopath. Let's give it to a good dude.
Yeah, and the other one who had a case would have been, and it's definitely a different case, but he did have a higher OPS. Edgar Martinez had a
Yeah.
1.107 OPS that season with while hitting 356 with a 479 on base percentage. Jesus.
I was trying to think who won the 95 MVP. That was Barry Larkin because
Yeah.
they played the Braves in the NLCS. Reds didn't make the playoffs for like 15 years after that.
Yeah, that was a curse.
The biggest farce was Jose Almo beating out Chipper Jones for NL Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, that's always a good trivia question because like Chipper was so good immediately that you think, oh, he definitely should have won Rookie of the Year. No.
He was also, I don't know, 23 years old, coming off of a blown ACL.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, my favorite rookie of the year, I can't remember if it's been done before, but Dustin Pedroia is either the only or one of the only guys to win rookie of the year in his first season and then MVP in his second season, which is a very cool stat.
I think what Ichiro won both in his rookie year. I think Fred Lynn had something like that too
Yeah.
way back in the day, but it's very difficult to do that. But yeah, Petey
Oh,
was a
Petey's
ball
my
of
dude,
his,
man. I freaking love Petey.
and I don't think Petey will be there in Evanston.
No, no. Next time we go to ASU, we need to get Petey there to meet Antonio though.
That's true. Yeah, I always forget he's there as a state guy.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense once you remember it, for sure.
Yeah. That's the saddest Big Ten game. That's easily the saddest game of the schedule. UCLA versus Northwestern. These are the two teams that might actually be worse than Wisconsin.
Yeah, it's not good for either of these programs. Like everyone like throws David Braun into the hot seat conversation right now, like very sadly. Like you talk about Fickle, you were talking about Gundy, you talk about Napier, and then it's like, I mean, yeah, we got to talk about David Braun. I don't want him to get fired, but man, this is bad.
That's also why Antonio wanted to go here for Mr. Shaveface.
Yeah, it might be his last time seeing him.
And Antonio is actually a booster for UCLA. We just found that out.
Yeah. He's actually one of the top donors, which says more about UCLA than it does about Antonio's generosity.
And I was asked, like, how'd you get connected with this? I'm like, Troy Aikman.
That's right. Yeah. Yeri Jones put him in contact with Troy.
So, like, Antonio's apparently the silent partner for Wingstop. he, he loves eating chicken wings,
Who doesn't? Who doesn't, honestly?
bone and all.
About it all.
Uh,
He's trying to
but
protect the Bulldogs. Dogs can't have chicken bones, so he's like, I'll take care of it. Don't worry.
he legitimately thinks this is the Prisoner of Azkaban or the Battle of Hogwarts. He's so excited.
Oh yeah, he's and like we've tried to tell him that not to expect a good football game, but he said he's ready for a good Bulldog fight. So
There is a chance this may be the one game he's been the most excited to go to. The game itself, I think he was really excited about going to Berkeley, but
mhm.
and then Charlottesville. But everything else was just kind of like alcohol, Yurians, alcohol, Yurians.
Yeah, I'm glad we're going to this game too because he's going to be devastated when we actually move back to Ryan Field and not playing on the lake in Azkaban. Like he's not going to know. Like Northwestern might be dead to him when that happens.
And I think so, but he's going to celebrate with Northwestern because I'm going to take the Wildcats to win this game.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm going Northwestern. It's gonna be near unwatchable, but I'll take Northwestern. Like I'm a sicko. I watch a lot of, how should we politely say this? college football games that are probably only getting a few hundred sets of eyes on them. I'm not opposed to that. This is going to be a tough watch. This is going to be one that really tests your moxie. But, that's why we bring Antonio along to help get us through it.
We are going to do the Bizarro college football playoff field at some point too, where like, the worst team in each Power Four league gets in, and your worst team in the
Yeah.
G5.
It
Like,
it's not going to be pretty.
I think Virginia Tech makes this thing.
Yeah.
Florida's getting there pretty quick.
Florida's getting there real quick.
Who's a real sad bag of crap in the Big 12?
God, I
I
don't know
don't
if we have like a real sad bag of crap
know.
because like teams that we thought were going to be sad bags of crap aren't necessarily that. You know what I mean? Like Arizona's played well to start the season. UCF's played well to start the season.
Oh, Oklahoma State. Are you
Oh
kidding?
Jesus, yeah. All right, yeah. Good call. Or actually, if you want to go like honestly even sadder bag of crap, Kansas State qualifies as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. We can't wait to put that field together. It's gonna be
It's gonna be
disgusting.
good. It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be so bad. And despite all of Antonio Banderas' rage, he's still just a blow up doll in a cage. We're moving on to some JLN with some Smashing Pumpkins.
There we go.
Love me some pumpkins. Saw them when I was in high school at the
Oh hell
Fox.
yeah! I've never seen him. That's sick.
Like Billy Corgan and I are one of the same. We're both control freaks. And you're James Eha, you just put out the vibes. Or no, you're Jimmy Chamberlain behind the drums.
There we go. I'm keeping the rhythm, man. We're going.
All right, we got a very interesting catalog here today. We're gonna start with today because it's the greatest day I've ever known. What do you have for that?
I went Oregon-Penn State because it's going to be the greatest day one of these coaches has ever known. Like, look, if I was thinking about this the other day, we know the book on James Franklin, the 10-2, not being able to get over the hump. If James Franklin and Penn State were to win this game, that conversation is going to be starting to be had about Dan Lanning.
100%.
And like they've won more games, like big games. They beat Ohio State last year in the regular season, but like in terms of the majority of big games that we've seen, particularly in the postseason, Oregon has not done this. This is going to be the best day of one of these coaches' lives. And I think it's probably going to be Dan Lanning because I still do not trust Penn State to get this done, man. It's just I, I'm happy to be wrong on this. This is not a game I would bet on because I do think Penn State is talented enough to prove us wrong. We just like I haven't seen that gear, and when I haven't seen that gear, that scares me.
Three thoughts. One, the music field. I could see Dan Lanning handing out ice cream in a truck.
Absolutely, 100%.
Number two, at one point in time, both Billy Corgan and James Franklin did have hair.
They did. Once upon a time.
And I don't even. I'll touch on that game here in a little bit, even though I've already picked it.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
For this game, I've got Kentucky at South Carolina
Love
because,
that.
can't wait for tomorrow. Might not have that long. That could be talking about Mark Stoops' time there in Lexington. Or if, God, if South Carolina loses, maybe Shane Beamer's like, you know what? Blacksburg sounds really good on the whole.
On the whole.
And you know, there's also a chance that the guitar intro is probably Nora Seller's favorite song. Like that's his ringtone.
Oh, 100%.
Boo 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 boo. You give me South Carolina.
Yeah, I do not have this game listed. I'm gonna take South Carolina as well. I think South Carolina rights the ship a bit down for over the next couple weeks.
All right, who's gonna disarm you with a smile?
That's going to be Tennessee versus Mississippi State. Mississippi State's going to try to disarm Tennessee with a smile because, we're just the pesky underdogs of the SEC. We don't actually matter. Dude, I think this game could be pretty close. Closer than people expect it to be. I'm going to take Tennessee to win this game, but I think I like this is kind of an underrated game of the week because they're like it is such a loaded slate, but like this Mississippi State team's not like something to be taken lightly. Like they played very well. Like we think Arizona State is a good football team, and they handled them in Starkville. So
I almost had this game listed in here, and I'll tell you what song it was going to be when we get to it if I
okay,
remember. But yeah, for similar reasons, I think Mississippi State might scare Tennessee a little bit. Both are probably going to lose to Georgia, and that's okay. But I'm
No,
going to go with Tennessee here.
yeah, I'm excited for this game. I think it's gonna be a good one.
And disarm, that's what I've got for Oregon, Penn State. I've obviously picked Oregon to win. The killer in me is the killer in you. Send a smile over to you. We're talking about the big cheese, Dan Lanning.
That's right.
And his got to see his defense be play with the tenacity out there with Betcher and the boys and Uyunglele. Let's go.
That's right. Uyunglele. I can say that one. I don't know what's wrong with me. I have a lot of issues.
Yeah, Uyunglele and Tagovailoa, you don't have a problem with.
I don't understand it at all. I'm
I,
just yeah. I
I,
too much Tylenol. What can I say?
I have a hard time with JTT. That's the only one I can't do.
Tui Molau?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's dumb that like I don't understand why I just have like these blocks, but I just can't do it.
And it's the middle name for JKS. Sakapilatelli. I'm okay with that.
Brother, I can't I don't have that one. That was not my arsenal.
No. And who do you got for a drown?
I have Auburn versus Texas A&M in this one. Both feel like they could be drowning after this game, especially Hugh Freeze. If Auburn loses a back-to-back games in the SEC, things are going to start snowballing pretty quickly. But I said it earlier in this week, like I think Texas A&M is a very good football team, but I don't necessarily trust them just yet. And this would be a game that Texas Tech would lose. You come off a signature win for the program and go and lose to a conference opponent. That's not exactly what you're looking for, but that is very Texas A&M of them to do. I'm gonna go Auburn. I think Auburn. I think this is gonna be like one of the surprise upsets. Like everyone's focused on Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, Penn State, LSU, Ole Miss. Like your attention's elsewhere, and then you like check the score bug, and you're like, wait a second, how is Auburn up 14 on Texas A&M right now?
I almost actually went with this one here too. But I can hear you when you I can almost what's it no matter where you are, I can still hear you when you drown. Give me Gig'em here because this is what happens when you sign up with Jackson Arnold. It's not
It's
gonna
true.
work
It's
out.
true.
Yeah.
I'm very well aware that I'm hitching my wagon to Jackson Arnold, which is not a great feeling.
And drown for me is a game we already touched on, but for the sake of Luke Richard Mbamunte, I'm gonna go with UCLA at Northwestern. And I've obviously picked Northwestern to win this game. And also the Blues are just gonna go in like Michigan.
Yeah, 100%. I also picked Northwestern for this game, so Nico's going swimming.
All right. That's some melancholy and some infinite sadness. Let's move on to my go-to karaoke song with bullets with butterfly wings. Ran out of breath there.
Sam Pittman's just a rat in a cage, brother. Notre Dame at Arkansas this week. Um, I'm gonna say it. I'm picking Arkansas to win this game. Um, I think Notre Dame's defense is in trouble right now. I don't think the Notre Dame defense is what we were looking for. I think it's a huge drop off from Al Golden to Chris Ash. I think that the talent is worse than it was a year ago. And Arkansas is probably going to give up 35 in this game, but I think they can score 40. And like that's where I come down. Like I think this Arkansas offense is legit, and Sam Pittman is going to hold off another rat in a cage, Bobby Petrino, who's apparently gunning for his job already.
And the thing about Marcus Freeman, he's cool and cold like old Job.
That's right.
I'm also taking Arkansas here because and I still believe that Sam Pittman cannot be saved, but like he's going to stave off being fired by getting a relatively signature win here.
Yeah, 100%. And this game is in Fayetteville, and it's
Mhm.
not hunting season yet, so that means that it will be packed. It will be loud.
Plus, like you lost a bad one at regional rival Memphis at their place.
Hmm.
Notre Dame outlasted Purdue. Purdue played tough for the first 2.5 quarters and fell apart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I think Arkansas is in a good spot here to get a nice win.
I I would agree. For Bullet, I've got my game, Alabama at Georgia, and this is a Kirby Smart's halftime speech. The world is a vampire sent to drain secret destroyers like Kalen DeBoer. Um, I don't care about Emo Hedge. Give me the dogs here. And I've been thinking about this, and I think really the big thing here is I don't know if Alabama can run the football.
Hmm. Yeah. I have this game coming up very shortly, so I'll get there in just a second. But yeah.
The other massive, massive hit by the Smashing Pumpkins, 1979, the year that Billy Corgan, I think, turned 12.
So said it was just a second. This is where I have Alabama, Georgia for, and we don't know just where our bones will rest. To dust, I guess, forgotten and absorbed into the earth below. It's gonna be Alabama after this week because Georgia's winning this damn game, and they're gonna win by a lot because Alabama's not that good. Look, man, they can't run the ball. I don't trust what I've seen from Ty Simpson to this point. I just don't. Like you looked awful against Florida State and you looked good against bad competition. That does not mean anything. I'm not writing him off forever. If he comes out and he plays well against Georgia, I will give him his flowers and I will change my tune. You've watched me do it with Joey Aguilar. But the one time we've seen him against similar level of competition, he did not look right. The offensive line did not look right. The defense looked lesser than. Like, I don't want to go through the same song and dance we did with Alabama a year ago. We did this with Alabama a year ago when in game, like, they would play well in certain games and then we would, start to crown them. And then we would not realize that they are just an inconsistent team. I think this is a worse version of last year's team. I think the inconsistency isn't there. I think they're just not, they don't have the ceiling that they had a year ago. I think Georgia has a much higher ceiling, and I think Georgia just frankly dominates this game.
I am a little bit higher on Ty Simpson. He will get his yards. He's an accurate passer. He's got two elite receivers with Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams, cousin Ryan Williams.
That's because, yeah, I think I mentioned it on Monday. I'm not convinced that Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams are as elite as people are making them out to be.
Wisconsin is also really bad, who you beat the tar out of, and then
Yeah.
Georgia won a game it should have lost at Tennessee. So that's a
Yeah.
perfect kind of motivation there.
But okay, let me ask you this. Like, I don't know. I truly couldn't tell you how this game ends up playing out. Like, I don't know if it's going to be like a rock fight or if it's going to be a shootout again. If it were to develop in a shootout though, man, I don't know if Alabama has the firepower to like keep up in a shootout.
I don't know if Georgia's got the DBs, but I don't know. Aguilar looks so good and so confident in that system just because it's no think there with the air raid. Whereas
Yeah.
DeBoer, like it's more prey style a little bit.
Yeah, and like that's what would worry me quite a bit.
I think the way I see this game kind of shaking out, it's probably like the national championship in 21, where like it'll be
Mm.
close. Simpson will there'll be like a late turnover that kind of seals it.
I like that. I like that script.
All right. 1979 for me, I've got Magnolia, LSU at Ole Miss. We don't even care, as restless as we are. You
Yeah.
know, Lane Kiffin was about four in 1979. I think Brian Kelly was 18 and he liked it.
Yeah.
Ole Miss doesn't care who their quarterback is, whether it's Austin Simmons or Trinidad Chambliss. Fins up, man. Let's go with you. Let's go with Ole Miss here for this game.
Hell yeah, love that.
Yeah, you got
I have that one for the well, I we'll get to the last song. We will get there.
all right. Last song, Tarantula.
So my actual answer is Oklahoma in their bye week because on your bye week, like you have the toughest schedule in the country, and then you lose your quarterback to a hand surgery. Like, stop giving me your toughest battles, which is basically what this song is about. And so, like, that's my actual answer. But because I wanted to put a game and make another pick here, I have LSU Ole Miss here for the simple fact of you look at the chorus, we are the real if real ever was, and I think LSU's real, man. I really do. I'm going LSU. We're gonna fight on this one, and I just think LSU's the better team in this matchup.
And I think that's fair. I think LSU won Magnolia last year by the skin of its teeth, so
Yeah.
I expect this game to go down to the wire.
Oh yeah. It's not going to be a blowout either way. These are two very good teams.
In the last game for me, I've got Indiana at Iowa because Kurt Sigetti has spoken them through the filter, and he is
Yeah.
screaming to the top of his lungs, "We are the real, if real ever was." Indiana is going to basically send Kirk Ferentz in early retirement.
I was talking to our colleague Chris Landers yesterday, and he was like, "I don't know, man. I've watched enough Big Ten football and seen enough teams go into Kinnick and struggle to like be worried about Indiana in this game." And I was like, "Kurt Cignetti's gonna hang 50 and then flip a double bird at the Children's Hospital, turn full heel."
I don't know if he's like handing out smoke to the children's hospital.
Oh my God. Yes.
Uh,
Oh God, that's good.
I don't know if it's good, but it's certainly Tylenol. This was episode 212 of False Start. You can follow me, John Buhler, on Twitter or the X at Buhler118. You can follow Cody Williams at the Sizzle 20. You can follow the show at CFB False Start. Like, rate, listen, subscribe, review on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere there's podcasts. Give us a 5-star review. This is for week 5. Like, please do it.
Yeah, 100%. If ever there was a time, it's now.
If there ever was a time, it is now.
That's got to be a Smashing Pumpkins lyrics at some point. You know what I mean?
Tonight, baby.
Yeah, it's in there somewhere. I don't know where, but it's there.
You know, if life can change and you're not stuck in vain.
That's right.
Today is the greatest day that I've ever known. Can't wait tomorrow. I might not have it long because this is false start.